Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Mindset Monday with me, Jeff Williams here, an action coach. And before I start, this is our subject today, why do people stay where they are? Before I start, I'm just going to ask you, there's a number of buttons and bells and buttons to press below. I'm going to ask you to click on those only if you believe you get some benefit from this video at the end. I'm going to ask you to click like, follow, share, tag your friends in, connect with me, subscribe, whatever the buttons are, whatever platform you're watching on here, if you get benefit from this session. So today we're looking at how we can move ourselves and our business forward. A lot of business owners we find are stuck where they are. They are struggling to grow their business beyond where it is. When I speak with a lot of business owners and start working with them, the thing they often say to me is, Jeff, my business is stuck. I've got it so far. I don't know how to move it any further forward. What is it that's stopping business owners from moving forward? I'll tell you what it is. It's this here. It's fear. Fear is usually the key thing that is stopping us from moving forward as business owners and as individuals. It's the expression here, false expectations appearing real, is what fear actually is. It's just, if you think about the times in your life when you feared things would go wrong, when you feared what would happen as you went into a certain situation, how many times did it actually come true? I can tell you it's not very often that it actually came true as you thought it would be. So fear holds us back. Let's have a look at some examples of that. Perhaps fear is holding you back from taking on that larger contract or trying to get better work or more work, more profitable work. The reason it's holding you back is probably because you don't know how to do it. You believe if you go into that situation, you're going to probably make a mess of it, or you won't be able to fulfill it, or you won't be able to find the right staff to be able to fulfill that. Is that true? Oftentimes we won't take on more work because we don't think we can get the right people. We can't attract the best people out there to work with us in our business. Or perhaps it's the other way around. We won't take people on that we need just to help us and to relieve some of the pressure on us because we believe that we won't be able to get the work for them. We won't be able to go out and do the marketing and sales to help those people come on board. Is that right? So those are a couple of circumstances where fear can be holding us back to get ourselves into a better position of either having more time for ourselves and our family so our business is easier to run, or more profit so that we can employ better people within our business. We're being held back by fear. Think about it. It doesn't often come true. Fear doesn't actually exist. Fear is just an emotion. So I'm going to come on to 4 ways actually in which you can overcome this emotion of fear just in a few minutes time. But let's have a look at another definition for fear. Another definition for fear would be failure expected and realized. Failure expected and realized. So in other words, we set ourselves up to fail. We believe that this is going to happen. This is going to go wrong. An example of that would be maybe at school. I remember when I was 11 years old, I went to high school and we had to do gym class, remember? And you had all the climbing frames and the ropes. And the thing that I really feared actually was jumping over the horse, vaulting over the horse. So you had the horse set up in the middle of the gym. Teacher stood there at the horse waiting for you to jump on the spring and vault yourself over the horse. They'd spin you and you'd land on your feet on the other side. I set myself up for failure. I believed I was going to fail. I thought, I'm going to break my back. I'm going to break my neck. But think about it. How many kids do you know who broke their back or broke their neck from vaulting over the horse? The teacher was there as a safeguard. You were flipping through the air, they're going to flick you, and you were always going to land on your feet. So we can often set ourselves up for failure by believing that we're going to fail. So to move on from where we are, what we need to do is overcome that fear. We need to actually stop doing this here. We need to stop self-sabotaging ourselves. Do you think we engage in self-sabotage? Well, we did a test a few years ago where we put 2 adverts out a week apart for the same role with exactly the same wording. One of them was advertised in the first week at £50,000 a year. The second one was advertised at £250,000 a year. Which advert do you think got the most response? Well, yeah, you're right. It's the £50,000 a year. Why would that get more response than this? Well, we're expecting that to get more response, actually. We're not 10 times more respondents. 10 times more people responded to this than to this one here. Why? Well, because of self-sabotage. What we're doing is we're not going to apply for this role because we don't believe that we're worth £250,000. We don't believe that we have the strength in our team to deliver this level of service to our customers. We don't believe that we have the ability to go out and do the marketing that will generate the higher paying customers. We don't believe that we can attract the best people and keep the best people within our team. I hear it all the time. Really hard to get great people. What's happening there is self-sabotage. I'm going to be quite brutal here, actually. I say self-sabotage is just an excuse. It's an excuse to think negatively rather than to think positively. It's an excuse for not putting in place the systems that will help us to deliver the highest level of service. It's an excuse for not putting in place or learning how to recruit, how to train, how to retain the very best people. Self-sabotage is an excuse, and it's not going to take us any further forward. It's going to keep us in fear. It's going to keep us where we are. So we need to overcome self-sabotage. We need to overcome fear if we're going to move on with our business. Now, this seems quite, when I'm delivering this, I always feel like it's a little bit tough. It's a bit tough love, but sometimes don't you need tough love? When you have a coach, what kind of coach do you want? Do you want the coach that's telling you you're doing really well, you're jumping as high as you can go, you're running as fast as you can, when actually you know you're not? What you want is somebody who's going to help you to, maybe you can't be the very best in the world. We want to be above average, don't we? Okay. If the 8 billion people on the earth, 6 billion are below average, you're going to find yourself, when you're above average, you're above 6 billion people. Apply that in business, apply that in your industry by getting over fear, and you'll find your business is moving forward at a rapid pace as you've put behind you those things that you thought were holding you back. So how do we get over fear? It's a real thing, actually, that turns up in front of our eyes often. So how do we get over it? Well, here are 4 things that you can do to overcome fear. I'd like you to imagine that I'm stood here. In front of me is a boulder, 10, 12 foot high. I'm trying to get over it to the other side, to success. Write fear on this boulder. Write it in front of you. Write down fear on this boulder. How am I going to get over it? Well, one of the first things I have to do is just tell myself that I can get over it. Come on, Jeff, get over it. Literally, get over it, Jeff. Get over the fear. Let's work out how we're going to do it. Affirmations, actually, are just a positive way of telling yourself this is going to happen. You think about the sportsman who has, at that key moment, the ball in their hand, and it's their responsibility to take that penalty, to kick that goal, whatever it is that they need to do to get success for the team. They are telling themselves, there are words going in their head. The words you say to yourself are really, really powerful. So to get over a fear, the first thing we need to do is to build an affirmation. Literally tell ourselves to get over it, that we can get over it. The second thing that will help us to get over this boulder, over this 10, 12 foot boulder, is to have a really strong why. Now, we hear that all the time, don't we? And it may start to sound a little bit glib. What does it mean, your why? What is your why? Well, your why is whatever it is. What's important? Why is it important to you to generate more business? Why is it important to you to have better people working in your business? Why is that important? What's it going to give you in your life? Now, if you worked with me as a coach, you'll understand that one of the key things I do is I help people to get their business to give them a better life. Whatever you define that is, more time with your children, with your grandchildren, with your loved ones, whatever it is, doing the things that you love doing. Maybe getting over this fear is going to help you to get there. If you have a very strong why, that's going to drive you over this boulder, isn't it? The third thing you can do is just recognize this, actually. Fear really doesn't exist. Fear is just an emotion. We are only born with 2 fears. Think about a baby. What are the 2 fears that a baby has? What are the 2 fears that we're born with? Type them in the box. Write them down. We're only born with 2 fears. We have a fear of loud noises, and we have a fear of falling. That's it. Those are our 2 natural fears that we're born with. So everything else is just emotional. It's just an emotional fog. So what do we need to do? If we have a fear in terms of, would I be able to get enough work to take my to take a team on, or if I take people on, will I have enough work for them? Well, we just have to work our way through it logically, don't we? What's the first step that we need to do? Well, first step is we need to understand who our target market is. We need to understand how we're going to reach our target market, and we need to understand how they can confirm them as a customer. Now, in each of those stages, there's some learning to do. So the logic is, what's the first step? Then what's the next step? then what's the next, and the next. If we take things logically, how am I going to get over this boulder? All of a sudden, the fear starts to shrink. We start to overcome it through logic. Really important point. The fourth and the final point here is really just to be rooted in what we believe is the right thing to be doing. What is grounding us? What's really important to us in our lives that's going to help us to get over this situation here, to get over this boulder? So 4 things that we can do to overcome fear. It's vital we do it. If we don't follow this 4-step formula, we're not going to get over fear. We're not going to move our business forward. Remember, fear is an excuse, really. Fear doesn't really exist in the true sense, is it? We only have those 2 fears that we're born with. We can logically move through anything. We find ourselves rooted in what's important to us, have a really strong why, affirm to ourselves what's important, and just understand, actually, that fear, more often than not, is an excuse. So get yourself grounded. Find yourself, actually, somebody that's going to help you to root out of you what the main problem is. If you find that these other 3 aren't working, find yourself a coach that's going to get to the root of the problem for you, help you understand what's stopping you, and move you forward in your business and in your life. That's Mindset Monday. If you got benefit from this session, I'm going to ask you, please tag your friends into this, share this with your friends, like, thumbs up, subscribe, connect, whatever it is. I'd really appreciate it. And in the comments below, could you just please write down, I really want to know what your biggest learning was from this session. Just write down in a few words what your biggest learning was from this session. It's Mindset Monday with me, Jeff Williams. Thanks for tuning in. See you next time.